each painting I try and experiment. That's huge in my work. It's not the easiest route to take, but each time you're excited and you're happy and you're coming up with new stuff all the time.
She incorporates a lot of different elements in her artwork, which I've never seen before, and I've been in the art business for over 30 years.
Her personality is experimental and open and bright and fresh, and so that is her work.
I've never seen Taryn's combination of artwork. She mixes the traditional with her mixed media.
I love the way her mind works. There are materials that Taryn uses that most people would consider garbage.
It's mixed media, but I want to call it unlimited mixed media. That means I'm not limited to anything. My thing is not having a thing.
I would say her work is contemporary yet traditional in a sense to where it has the traditional background of the way she paints her work, and then when she adds in the mixed media, it brings forth the more contemporary zone.
It's two different mindsets. I'm truly blessed to be able to bring them together and say, all right, you've been tight enough in this area, have fun, go experiment and do something different.
It's very new, it's very cutting edge, it's very unique.
I'm passionate about it, honestly, almost to a fault, because I can't shut it off. You see things in color, you see everyday things as materials.
I think the thing about it is it's organic. You know, it's not, I don't think it's something I can find and just be like, use this in a piece. It's something, it just has to work.
Sometimes it's because I found something and I want to make something out of nothing. And other times I'm just so inspired and I know what I want and I'll find it the fastest way I can. One time I was wearing a dress with a little ruffle on it, doing this little girl digging. It's called Digging to China. And I was like, how cute would it be if she had a little ruffle on her bikini? And I'm like, where am I going to find a ruffle? Oh, just cut my dress. So
Taryn's process has taken years to figure out.
It's a lot of trial and error. You have to know what mixes with what will react differently.
She's challenged herself to use different types of media that nobody else has used in their artwork before.
I keep adding to my repertoire of, of supplies that I can use. So every time I've mastered one, I add one I've never used before.
It's actually one of the things I admire about her work the most is her willingness to constantly experiment and constantly play.
My brain just doesn't stop thinking. Every time I see someone throwing something out, I ask, Kate, what are you doing with that? Can I have it?
From pop tops to metal,
aluminum, maybe twigs,
to sticks to shells,
paper and cardboard,
fabric and sea glass,
Silver leaf, gold leaf, copper.
I mean, you name it. Anything that she finds inspiring, she'll put it in there.
She looks at everything as art material.
I guess you'd call me an organized hoarder.
Everything in the studio is labeled. Every single drawer with where it goes.
I just take it in, clean it.
Little brushes, they're trash brushes, they're good brushes.
Glass jars, I'll steam all the labels off and I use all the glass jars for my materials.
The labeling is, in my opinion, ridiculous.
And then sort them. And then I just put the label of what it is.
Apparently she labels laundry these days.
I like the way it looks. Even with food stuff, I'll empty it all out and put it in glass jars.
Pretty sure she labels just about everything.
When I was 4 or 5, my dad gave me the deluxe Crayola spinning set, and I just about lost it when I opened it. I think I had like an excited tantrum. Every color.
Long before she ever went to school, Taryn was artistic in many different ways. Under a year, she was using her crayons, her little paints.
Growing up, I was always in art courses. My mom was an artist. She always encouraged me to be in classes.
I do remember going there with her and people thought I was the artist and I was just dragging my child along with me when in fact she was the artist and I was just the chauffeur. It was fun for me to be able to paint too, but I was always looking over at what she was doing for inspiration.
And when I went to college, I was like, I just love painting so much. I can't imagine spending that much time away from it. So I went into painting.
The art program she was in offered her a very classical education.
I feel like in anything anyone does, you need a strong skeleton to expand on it. So we learned that real classical training. Once we nailed all that in, we started to get really creative and say, hey, everything that we just taught you, you have all the skills you could ever need, but now we're not going to let you be safe with that stuff. We're going to force you to think outside the box. One thing that really became successful for me was experimenting with the marine resin. I grew up on the Connecticut coastline, and that sort of has a lot to do with why I started using mixed media. My best friend's dad built boats, and he actually was an integral part of me beginning to experiment with the different marine varnishes and coatings that I would use to embed objects in. I'd watch him make the boats, and I thought, what if I just put those on my paintings? And it sort of opened up this whole new media for me.
She started adding a lot of texture and creating this process with her resins and all that added depth and motion and texture and sensuality into all of her paintings.
I thought, how cool is this stuff? Like, I could embed things in and weave it through.
I wasn't sure where she got all these materials from. They appeared and ended up on canvas with her painting skills, and the combination was spectacular.
When I made Beach Boss, I wanted to use actual sand and driftwood, and I'd collect these things and shells, so it brings home that piece of that beach. I'll mix the sand with some mediums and polymers and whatnot, and then incorporate the paint, so I make different colors of paint sand, basically, and paint with that. It's taken me a long time to perfect that mixture, but I've got it down. I call it special sauce. The gold is just, there's that sunset. It's like, that is the brightest thing I've ever seen in my life, and how would you even recreate that aside from actual reflected light? So it's actually reflecting all the light that hits it. That's really intriguing to me. You know, you see kids playing on the beach and there's a great light. I wanted to create that naivety, that childlike, I can take on the world. And I thought the swimmies on, I thought that was just really cute, showing the youth in it. That to me is the ultimate world at my fingertips. I'm on top of the world and I'm on a sunny beach painting.
I think Taryn has an intuitive sense of what to paint.
Sometimes it's from a moment I've witnessed, sometimes it's from a color I saw, a material I picked up. It really comes from everywhere. I was doing a commission with a client at their home, and one of them had set their wine glass down. I'm looking at it and I see this incredible reflection, like all of that beauty poured into that glass and then light beaming out of it, and seeing that palm tree reflected in it, and I was like, I gotta paint this. I became really intrigued by the metallic leaf and the way the light reflects on it. And you look at the sunset and you want to capture this godlike brightness. And how do you do that in just paint, you know? I feel like the best way to do it is with actual light. To get that textural, that wicker basket feel, I weaved in and out the aluminum can tabs that I hand painted each one and then layered them in such a way that it gave the effect of a wicker basket. As the natural light changes or spotlights change, that piece changes with that and takes on this whole new entity and this whole new mood, and can kind of from day to night change completely. It has its own personality in a way. Somebody presented to me, you need to do prints. I didn't really want to. I feel like texture and light is such a huge part of my work that I didn't want to sell it as a flat print, so I wanted to make them originals again. I put the gold and the sand and the textures and the sculptural effects, and then put that shine, that glass-like coating on top, and they're each original all over again.
Gigles essentially are originals because she'll incorporate all of these elements into the gigles, highlight them, touch them up.
I did a small edition of 26, and I was 26 at the time, and that's how I came up with that brilliant number.
The different materials create something that is never before seen on their limited editions, which makes it every piece a unique piece, because every piece is actually slightly different. So it's almost like every piece that somebody buys is an original. She completely dedicates her life to her artwork, and it's very admirable to be able to do that. To get so much recognition at such an early age, it's great. She can only keep going up from here.
I'm constantly amazed how she comes up with these ideas and uses the pieces that she uses in her paintings. It's always a surprise.
I always like to say it's not really something you choose. You don't choose to be an artist, it kind of chooses you. I mean, I really had no choice. I have to be painting all the time.